This is my favorite summer coffee right now. Let's make a cup together. So we're gonna do a 1:15 ratio, 20 grams of coffee, 300 grams of water. We're using a little hand grinder. We're gonna tear it out and add 20 grams of this coffee. A little movie magic, we're 0.7 grams over, but I'm not worried about it. Now, the grind size on this is actually gonna be relatively fine. Normally you'd go a little more coarse for an immersion brewer, but there's really nice grapefruit notes I want to pull out, so I'm going to go a little more fine to bring out those higher acidity notes. That's all grinded. Now let's set up our brewer. Today we're going to be using a Next Level Pulsar brewer, which was made by an astrophysicist who wanted to make a really high-end immersion brewer with a lot of control. So let's make it together. Now let's rinse the filter. And the easiest way I found was to take your hot water and close the filter tab, pour a little bit of water in, drop your filter in, let it float down to the bottom, and then open up the tab. And that will rinse your filter, it will start the preheating process, and it will also bring the filter down so it has a very nice even base layer, so your extraction is very clean and very consistent. Now we're going to close that tab, and we are going to... The tab is closed. Now we're going to add the top part of the brewer. Make sure it's nice and snug. Take off the top. Open up our ground beans. You gotta smell them first. It smells so good. We're gonna tear it. Take our ground beans, drop it in. Give it a nice shake so it's nice and even. Now take the top part, put it on, and tear it once again so we're all zeros. Now remember earlier, we're doing a 1:15 ratio. We put 20 grams of coffee in. So for our bloom, which is the most important part, we're gonna do a 1:3. So we're just gonna put in 60 grams of water for our bloom. So pour in 60 grams of water. Now this water is just below boiling at 205 Fahrenheit. For their Celsius friends, Google it and do the math. Great, now we have about 60 grams of water in there. I like giving it a nice shake. You can also agitate it with a spoon, other tools. The world is your oyster. Now, we're still keeping our valve closed. For the bloom. And a lot of people like blooming only for a minute. I actually prefer a longer bloom, 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes sometimes, because what I've found personally is that it can really bring out the sweetness of your coffee. So we're gonna push the bloom at least to 1 minute and 30 for this one. A little movie magic. Now, time to open our valve slowly. We don't want it to rush out, but we want it to have a nice consistent pour. Starting to go a little more. There we go. Now as it's pouring, we want to maintain about 1 centimeter of water. So we're going to start pouring on the top, nice and easy and slow. The beautiful thing about this top piece is it disperses everything very evenly and nice. Right now, if you can see it, we're at 100 grams. We are at 2:15 on the timer. Like I said, I did a much longer bloom than most people will do. Personal preference, obviously, play around with it, do what suits you. Keep the coffee going. Now, as this brews, I would like to talk about the coffee a little more. This is from a really cool roaster named Fogline, located in Northern California in a little small town called Arcata within Humboldt County. This is an area right on the northern coast of California, almost Oregon, that far north, like 5 hours north of San Francisco. And they're known for their redwood trees, gorgeous giant redwood trees, beautiful scenic ocean, and one other thing, but we're going to keep this PG. Now as this brews, let's talk about the coffee a little bit. It's a washed Kenyan coffee, and the notes on the bag are tropical, grapefruit, brown sugar, and plum. Now the grapefruit notes, that's why this is my favorite summer coffee, because that like beautiful grapefruit acidity just kind of takes me to kind of like a tropical island in a sense. And then the plum comes around and evens it out. So I really prefer it. And that's also why I went a little more fine than I normally would with an immersion brewer, because I wanted to bring out those bright acidic notes of the grapefruit. Like I said, once again, personal preference. And we are very close to finishing our pour. I'm going to top it off at 300, and we're at 303 because I'm not perfect. Now as it finishes the brewing, I wanted to note that Fogline's really cool. The owner, Rob, will always send a handwritten note with the orders. And he let me know to rest the Kenyan. So this Kenyan is actually rested for a little over 2 weeks. And so it's the perfect time to brew. Remember, a lighter roast coffee, you'll tend to have to rest it much longer than a medium or a dark roast coffee. If you ever get a light roast coffee and it kind of tastes like vegetables, it means it's often not rested enough. So rest it. I've drinking coffee that's 3 months rested and tastes incredible. Personal preference, but definitely on the lighter side, like Fogline is, you want to let it rest, let it chill out in the bag, and you'll be happy with your results. A little under 6 minutes, we are done brewing, and we are going to pour it in our cup and enjoy. Give it a nice swirl and pour your cup out. And I prefer hot coffee, but it is summertime, so feel free to do the same pour it over ice. You can also make it a little stronger and pour it over ice to account for the dilution. Enjoy brewing and have a nice one.